Yes, people. How's everybody doing? Please remember to like the video, subscribe if you haven't. I'm back with the second one of Tottenham squad breakdown. Today we're going to be reviewing the midfield, who I think we must keep, who can improve, and who I think needs to be sold. Now, Thomas Frank is there now. He's carrying out the training sessions. He's assessing the squad. We have far too many players. He can't keep them all. Some are going to have to go out. And over the next, couple of weeks, I think Frank will be making decisions on these players of who he wants to keep in the squad, who he wants to sell, who he wants to loan. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting, guys. I'm sure we all have, as fans, got our own opinions on the team and who you like, who you don't like, who you wouldn't be too fussed if you sold. So, yeah, just give us your opinions on the midfield, who you would like to keep, who do you think there's like room for potential, or Frank can get more out of, and who we must sell. You know, we do need to up the level of the squad. Some players do need to go out. And so some decisions need to be made. So this is my assessment, guys, on the midfield. Let's start off with Archie Gray. Archie Gray came in with a big transfer fee in the summer. I mean, he really didn't get going at all in midfield. He was used across multiple positions in the defence, from centre back, left back, right back. Had a lot of game at centre back when we had that injury period. And I think he did the best he could. He's not a centre back. He wasn't even with one of the best Spurs starting centre backs. And so it was. Yeah, it was like a big wake up call to the Premier League. But I think he did his best. You know, he's not a centre back, but he did all he could. And I think you look at it now and people will say, well, it's not going to help him develop as a player because he's not played at that set position. And I get that. But also, I think that just experience of playing in the Premier League will help him massively. But again, we just didn't see him in that midfield. And I think we need to see him in that midfield. Now, do we keep him in the squad? Do we loan him out? It's a difficult one. We all know Thomas Frank wanted to sign Gray before he went to Spurs. So a decision needs to be made on him. I mean, depending on who we bring in, I would probably say loan him out for the season. Get him playing in a midfield every week in a Premiership side or a Championship side, so he can really keep him kind of progressing as a player. He needs games, you know. Look, he will get games if he plays Spurs this season. We do have a lot of games. But I want Spurs to be as competitive as possible. So I want the strongest lineup playing in these competitions. And also, obviously, I want improvement in that midfield. And we do have quite a lot of midfielders. Now, the decision will be made by Frank to kind of keep him in the squad or loan him out. I have a feeling that Frank is going to keep him about because, again, he is that cover for in those defensive positions if we pick up injuries. So, guys, I think Archie Gray is a must keep. I think we've invested a lot of money in him. I think there's more to come. I think with Frank's coaching will really help develop the player. But again, he does need game time. And as I said, I would probably favour a loan move for him for this season. Guys, getting on to Bissouma. A lot of talk that he will be leaving. Not long left in his contract. Again, a player who's really failed to live up to its expectations coming to Spurs. Very good player at Brighton, but very inconsistent at his time at Spurs. On his day, he can be fantastic and run a midfield. Other days, he's just not there. Maybe the change of managers, maybe the formation hasn't suited him. But it gets to a point where, how long do you wait for a player to see if they actually are going to make their true potential? He's not young. He's 28. He should be in his prime now. He should be consistently playing well. I think of any players in that midfield, I think Bissouma would be the one to move on and sell. I don't expect Spurs to get a lot of money for him, maybe anything up to about £20 million. I think he'll be moved on. I would sell Bissouma and I'd want someone else to come in who's better than him and more consistent. Guys, give us your opinions on what I'm saying so far. Then we've got Lucas Bergvall. Again, another young player. Had a lot of games this season due to the injury crisis. Look, Bergvall looks like he's got a lot of potential. There's definitely he's got something about him. He does work hard, a lot of running around, trying, trying to move the ball forward. Very positive in his thinking. I think again with better coaching, we'll see a better Bergvall. I would keep him in the squad because I think we do need creativity. We don't have that much in those kind of central areas. And I hope that Frank can kind of raise his game or kind of, help his development throughout the next season. Definitely once it is a must keep, in my opinion. Moving on to Pape Matar Sarr, another guy. He has his good games, has his bad games. Has he really improved since his time being at Spurs? It's hard to kind of say, really. I don't think so. He's only 22 years old. Been at Spurs for quite a few years now. Kind of up and down player, box to box midfielder. I wouldn't say he's the best technically. Does give a ball away quite a lot, but he has a lot of energy. He does score the odd goal. Again, I think a player that could do well in Frank's system. I think Frank can kind of pick his game back up and kind of help develop him more in that midfield. So I do think that's a player that Spurs will keep. For me, he's not a must keep. I think if there was a bid come in, I would probably sell him. But again, I got a feeling that Frank might like this type of player, and he will be given opportunities next season. Then we move on to Kulusevski, who unfortunately is injured. I don't know how long, but he's got a long injury again, so he's not really up for the discussion in this one. He's going to be here. He's a Tottenham Hotspur player. I mean, Kulusevski is a very frustrating player for me. On his day, can be fantastic. Was he overplayed last season? Probably yes. He's better centrally, I think. People said last season that he was carrying an injury, and he kind of slowed his game down in that second part of the season. We just didn't see the best of him, did we? That we have in the past. Again, is a player that if he was available, I would probably sell him, and I'd want better than Kulusevski if we had to make a decision. But he's not really in this conversation because he's injured, so he'll be sticking around. James Maddison, for me, must keep. One of our only kind of attacking creative players, like Kulusevski, like Bergvall. Maddison, look, he had his injuries last season. Yeah, he disappeared in certain games, but he's a player who's got that bit of magic, got that pass, he can score goals. I love his attitude when it comes to football and playing football. He's tricky. He can spread the play. He can score a free kick. He's got a lot about his game, Maddison. I think with him, it's again, you're getting a manager who can believe in him, really kind of making the main man of the side. And if he can keep fit, then yeah, he's so important to Tottenham. So he's a must keep for me, definitely. And I think we can see a new level to Maddison next season. And I'm hoping in regard to consistency, that kind of putting in those consistent performance, finding a place in the team. And we all know under Ange, Maddison and the inverted fullbacks kept getting in his way, didn't they? And sometimes that kind of didn't help Maddison's game. He needs the space to operate and to create things. And, Frank's not going to play with those inverted fullbacks. So, and I'm hoping that he'll kind of make Maddison a kind of main creative outlet in the team. Do I think we need more in that area? Yes, I do. And I'll come on to that in a minute. But Maddison for me is a must keep. And look, I'm looking forward to see how he plays under Frank in a Frank system and see what Frank can get out of him. Then we have Alfie Devine. He's 20 years old. He's been out on loan. Another player where, the club need to make a decision. Are they going to give him any opportunities? Are they going to sell him? Are they going to give him another loan? So, he seems like he's been around the club forever. I remember him making his debut in the FA Cup under Mourinho, scored a goal, but we just haven't really seen him. And he's 20 now. And, Spurs have got quite a lot of youngsters that, the club needs to make a decision what they're doing. Are they going to be included in the first team squad or not? Got the likes of Donnelly as another one. He was loaned out, had a good season, didn't he, playing for Orient? So look, I don't know about him, man. It'll be Frank to assess him. Maybe another loan for him. I really don't know about that guy. So I think that's really it. All the kind of the main midfielders that we have. What we just need more in there, guys, don't we? We just need more. We're so lacking. Number one, I'm more of a defensive minded midfielder, someone who can, just sit in front of that defence, tackler, somebody who's quite got some presence. Does Frank play with a dedicated DM, or does he play with just two and sitting in front of that defence? I hear different messages from different people really about what he does, what he needs. Sorry, I feel we need that more defined, defensive minded player in there to help the team. Someone with some experience. I just think we're lacking that, some kind of leadership in the middle of the park. And I think Spurs will go out and get someone. And I'll be really interested to see who that is. And then again, we could also look at maybe signing a kind of more of a creative playmaker type midfielder, somebody who's good on possession, somebody who can dictate games, somebody who can kind of set the tempo of the team, somebody more like that. Someone with, and I always talk about experience, and it's hard to go get them, but there are players out there who have experience that we can get. That combination. It's what does Frank want? We don't know, do we? But I do think we need like big improvements in that midfield. I think Bentancur, like Bissouma, Sarr can be good in certain games. They just lack that consistency. But again, I think under Ange, the system exposed them a lot. So I think, I think Frank, and he's mentioned players like Bentancur he likes. Is that a sign that he's going to be kind of a main player in the team? I just think Bentancur needs somebody a bit more mobile again next to him, a bit more technical. I know Sarr's mobile, but I think we need somebody a bit more technical in that midfield. Someone to kind of work alongside Bentancur, and then you'd have that attacking midfielder in front. So look, guys, give us your thoughts on that midfield. I think it's definitely an area we can improve greatly. I'm going to be looking closely at that in this summer transfer window. I know we can't sign every good player, and I know, we in an ideal world would upgrade maybe at least two in that area. More realistically, knowing how the club operates, one is more realistic. Decisions need to be made on these players. As I said, we can't keep them all. We're going to have to let a couple go. Then we have obviously the foreign rule. So many foreign players in the squad. So that needs to be thought about. Is there any talented English players that could come into that team? They're going to have a big price tag on them, but I'm sure there are some if you look out through the leagues, Premier League, Championship possibly. But look, again, I'm looking for Spurs to, I know there's talks around Kudus. We ain't got it over the line yet. We're all waiting to hear. What is the next player we're looking at? That midfielder, who is it? We don't know yet. There's been some names linked. There's obviously this players that we would like into that side. The likes of Palhinha from Bayern Munich. The likes of what's the bloke name from? He's playing for Juventus now. Oh, the name's just passed me. Sorry, guys. He used to play for Aston Villa. Oh my days! My memory's getting bad. Why can't I remember? Sorry, it's going to annoy me now. I have to say who it is. Douglas Luiz. Yeah, that's the guy. Looks like he's available. Didn't work out in Italy. Playing for Juventus. I think that's a player that could do well at Spurs. So look, lots to do in this transfer market. Guys, please give me your opinions on the midfield, who you want to keep, who's a must keep, who you think can get better under Frank, and who would you sell? And let me know. Leave your comments below. Please remember to smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I'll be back later this week to assess the forward line. Spurs, get a move on the transfers. Yes, it's frustrating, but guys, look, we need to start bringing in some players. Look, Frank is assessing the squad. We have to give that a bit of time to see how that goes down, and then see what players are put on the transfer list. But guys, anyway, thanks for watching the video. Enjoy your day. And as always, come on, you Spurs.